This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt's 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. Let me tell you something, folks. I do not give a shit about abortion. I don't care. I really don't. I mean, people could just, you know what? People should just do whatever the fuck they want. How about that? How about if we just enact, I don't know if we can enact that. I mean, I'm not a hippie. You know what I mean? I don't want, yes, everyone gets a VW bus and your left hand should always be making the peace sign. That's a law I'm signing in right now as president of Funk. I don't know, cool, whatever. And I think we can all agree that if there was an election and people were like, we need to vote for a president of Funk. We need the man for the job. Who could be the president of cool? I got it. Fat 42-year-old white guy. That's exactly that's the trendsetter you want in the office. You know what? Forget it. I don't think any of you other cool people, any of you fake Basquiats, get lost. We found the president of Funk. He's a fat guy in a sweater, in a golf sweater. Jesus Christ. Why did I just you know what? You're automatically disqualified from being president of Funk or Cool if you claim that you would be the president of Funk or Cool. That's it. That's part of the requirement of being president of Funk or Cool. If they voted you president of Funk or president of Cool and they came to you and they go, dude, you're the president of Cool, you know what you'd say? Don't want it. That's what you would say because you're the goddamn president of Cool. But as the self-appointed president of Funk, I will tell you that I don't care, man. I was reading today about Tim Tebow. He's a quarterback. He played for the Florida Gators. Tim Tebow now, if you don't know anything about Tim Tebow, he is absolutely the farthest. He's farther than me from president of Funk. Because he's like a 22-year-old white guy who's been on, he's gone on missions and stuff like that. And look, I don't mean to discredit your missionary work, folks. I can tell you, I hear from a lot of people in Haiti who listen to me on their headphones while they're digging people out of rubble. They enjoy me, and that's fine.
Oh, shit.
I keep that. I light their way as they try to help this impoverished people. But Tim Tebow is a guy. Again, do your mission work. Go do your thing. I don't care. That's fine. But you're never lose sight of the fact that you're a white quarterback. Please do that for me. You're a 22-year-old white quarterback. Quit trying to teach me life lessons. But at the same time, I don't give a shit if he tries to teach me life lessons because he can come up to me and shake my hand and be like, dude, I'm Tim Tebow, and I think you should believe in God. And I just be like, Tim, really nice to meet you. I think you're a great quarterback. Could not care less how you feel about the afterlife. I really don't. But yet people draw this, and if people draw strength from him, that's fine. God, I am waffling. I'm the president of waffles. That's who the fuck I am. I've gone from president of Funk and president of Cool to goddamn president of a malted breakfast food. Jesus Christ. I got to try to say this in a right way. All right. Tim Tebow, I have no problem with him. Let's put it that way. I don't care about Tim Tebow. But here's what I care about. He's doing an ad during the Super Bowl because I guess Tim Tebow and his mom was pregnant with him. She was considering having an abortion. And then she didn't. And she had him, and now he's changing lives as a quarterback. I guess that's how it works. So what happened now is they've gone ahead and they've decided to do a Super Bowl commercial for Focus on the Family.
Oh, Christ.
And it's a pro-life commercial. And it's going to be Tim Tebow and his mom. And I guess it's a cautionary tale of, hey, don't abort that baby. He could grow up to be a third-round draft choice. I mean, I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't know. Some people may find it inspiring. Folks, you may find it inspiring. Of course, you also listen to me for an hour and a half every fucking week. So let's put it this way. Your sanity's in question from the jump. And so I don't care if you run that commercial. I don't find it offensive. I just don't fucking care. I don't care about abortion. Again, 40-year-old white guy. Certainly as the president of Funk, you would think I would come down. But no, as the president of Waffling, I couldn't care less. I don't care at all about abortion. Do I think abortion is bad? Yes. Do I think abortion is good? Certainly. I don't care. That's my point. If you want to have them, have them. And quite frankly, I have a fucking cock. I shouldn't be giving you my opinion on abortion at all. It has nothing to do with me, except for me driving someone to the clinic and waiting for 45 minutes. That's the only thing I should ever have to do with an abortion. That's the only thing a man should ever have. That's the only say an American... Listen, the only say a man should ever have on abortion is the route to the clinic. If he wants to use Google Maps or if he wants to use his GPS. That's the only say a man should have an abortion. Step the fuck off, dudes. And I say that as the president of Funk. I'm watching these people today. They're outraged about Tim Tebow and his abortion commercial, and it's like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I mean, people are like, oh, and the Super Bowl is such a terrible forum for it. No, it isn't. Who the fuck cares? If he has the money, why shouldn't he be able to buy a Super Bowl commercial? Because quite frankly, the economy's in fucking tatters. CBS at this point, they don't care who the fuck wants to show up and advertise. Quite frankly, I wish I could cobble it together and just, wouldn't that be fucking great? If I could cobble together the money and buy a fucking spot on the Super Bowl and just sit there and talk for 30 fucking seconds, that'd be genius. And it would just be me. You wouldn't need a Clydesdale or a goddamn talking chimp or a fucking beer commercial. Fuck all that. It would be just me. You don't need robots or cute animals or fucking pandas with Chinese accents. It's just goddamn Mike Schmidt talking. That happened a couple of years ago. They had a commercial for like a travel thing. You can actually find it online. And for some reason, in this commercial, I was at a Super Bowl party. This is 2 years ago, maybe last year. I'm at Siegel's house, and we're watching this. This commercial comes out because when you watch the Super Bowl with a bunch, first of all, it's an event with your friends, and you're watching the commercials and the show and all that. But when you watch it with comedians, it's even more so because you may know people that are in the commercials, or you may know people that are involved in these ad campaigns, or you may see a commercial for a show. Who the fuck knows? Well, anyway, this commercial comes out for some travel agency last year, and it's literally animated pandas who can't pronounce their R's. Like, it was the worst. They might as well have just been eating dog out of a gong. I mean, that's how offensive this goddamn commercial was. And it aired, I think, once in the first half and then once in the second half. And each time it aired, it would finish airing, and we would all look around and go, did that just fucking happen? That didn't really just happen. In fucking 2009, did it really? I mean, you have expected fucking Jerry Lewis to come out in a kimono and big buck teeth and bow and walk off.
Oh, yes.
You're a fan? Are you a fan, Lily? Lily likes Jerry Lewis. I don't. I could not care less about Jerry Lewis.
That character.
Oh, only his racist Chinese guy? All right.
Racist Chinese guy. So
I see that. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, yeah. You can give you like to pigeonhole a Lewis.
yes.
And by the way, pigeonhole, that is actually one of my favorite Chinese dishes. When I go out, there's a restaurant called Golden Chopsticks by my house. Oh, I'll get the egg foo young in the pigeonhole. God damn, is that delicious. Oh, I don't know what's in it. I don't want to know what's in it. All I know is there's a little message inside that tells me that I'm good in bed. All right. But look, I don't give a shit about abortion, folks. I really don't care. I don't care about anything at this point. I found myself, I used to care when I was a kid, but now the fucking sportsification of politics has changed everything. This guy wins in Massachusetts last week, and everybody's outraged. They're unbelievably pissed off, and they're furious about it. You know what? I don't give a fuck. This country wants to vote for a goddamn Cosmo Centerfold to be the guy in Massachusetts, and then he uses his bully pulpit to tell you that his daughters are available? What the fuck? Then that's fine. That's the guy you should have in office. That's who you voted for. That's my favorite part. People voted for this guy, and then he had his little press conference. He's like, "Oh, I want to let you know my daughters are available." As a joke, he's joking. He's just joking. But then people are upset about it the next day. Oh, I can't believe that was inappropriate that he would say something like that. You voted for this motherfucker, okay? You voted him in. You don't have any right to be pissed off at this guy. Actually, like 1 million of you do. 1,100,000 of you don't. So that's how it works. But that's where we are in this country. Every election will be decided by 100,000 people. And it's always the 100,000 people that you don't want to sit next to on the fucking bus. That's the people, because you've got us and them, and then there's those guys. Nobody wants to deal with those guys. Because even if you're on a bus, let's put it this way, on a bus, on the left-hand side, there's us. On the right-hand side, there's them. And if you stop at a stop and you pick up one of those guys, even us and them will look across the bus aisle and go, holy shit, where's he going to sit? Oftentimes, that guy's just a strap hanger because he doesn't want to pick a goddamn side. Us and them are like, dude, I don't want to deal with those guys. So those guys just, all they do is they fucking hold a strap and mean mug everybody in the goddamn bus. Those are the people deciding elections in this fucking country. Our country is a bus. And you know who's driving? The fucking president of funk. Ha ha! Yeah, goddammit! Yeah! I just threw something across the room that made me laugh so much. Woo! Oh, I busted a Ric Flair on you. All right, folks. Oh, it is exciting to be the president of funk. I just don't care about abortion. I don't care about anything. I don't. I think you should help people. That's it. Help anyone. Help. You know what? Help large groups of people, as we are doing when you guys buy the year one set, and I'm sending money to Haiti. That's so great of you. Thank you, and that will continue through the end of January. Help people around you. I did this. All right. Look, I've told many stories on here of my adventures with the homeless. Okay. And I think we can all agree that the homeless are those guys, correct? We're us, they're them, the homeless, they belong in those guys. But I find myself, again, I just find myself being a guy who wants to help people, all right? So this happened. And again, I get people all the time. I've lost people who tell me they don't like the way I treat the homeless or that I tell the story about the homeless. It's like, dude, what do you want me to do? I mean... I would love to be all Dick Cavett about a guy with shit hanging out of his ass in a 7-Eleven. I just can't pull it off. Some things are even out of the reach of the president of funk. So I'm out having some sushi the other day with my wife, and we are at a place called Midori, which is an all-you-can-eat sushi joint. Whoa, hold on. The chair just gave me a lockup. That's real-time accidents, folks. That's what happens on a podcast. We'll edit that out later, right? We'll take that out in post. Post, by the way, folks, is in post-production. I shorten it and I abbreviate it because I'm in the industry. All right. So I'm out having a sushi dinner. Now, at this particular sushi joint, I can tell you that, weirdly enough, you know who's my sushi chef? Animated Panda. No, that's Japanese. That's not Chinese. Or Dirty Knees. Or, quite frankly, look at these. Although Lily's got to look at these going on today. I got to be honest with you, folks. Lily's my friend. I am a great friend of Lily, and I've known her a long time. She really looks hot today. I mean, it's like she's got like and here's what's funny. She knows it. I will tell you that. She's shaking her head no, but bullshit, because she's doing all this stretching and leaning like she's like in a good place. Bullshit. She's in a good place. So she's kind of like, she's wearing like the tightest T-shirt. She just got a deal to do a breast cast for, who's that for? For Keep a Breast. Is it keepabreast.com or something? We'll find out what it is. It's keepabreast.com, I think. And what they do is they do plaster breast casts, and then they auction them off, and then the money goes to people getting like early knowledge of how to take care of your breasts and breast exams. And when will your cast be up?
My cast is being done this weekend, and it will be for sale at Tiki Oasis in August.
Okay, her cast is being done this weekend, and it will be for sale in August. So believe me, you've got all summer to think about buying Lily's tits. But here's the thing. So she got this news. I don't know when she got it, but she could not, like, you can see that it's infused her with this sexuality vibe where I walked in today and she's like barefoot in jeans and a really tight T-shirt. And the first thing she wanted to tell me was that she's doing this breast cast. And you can just see that she's like virile and alive. And it's like, because sometimes I come here and she's just like, oh, dude, she got like a baseball jersey half on and a pair of boxer shorts and like anklet socks. And she's just like, I don't want to do this. Just talk. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. And then she studiously fake laughs throughout the entire broadcast. But today I walked in and you could just see it, man. She had that like that weird like I'm ready to just do anything vibe, which is great. So I don't even know why I spun off into that, quite frankly. Was it the no? Well, your pants are broken. I mean, there's no point in bringing that up. Her pants are unzipped. I told her when I came in and we were sitting here, and I'm just like, because that's, rather than say, hey, your pants are unzipped, I have to do a pantomime. But it turns out they're broken. Her jeans are broken, and she has not bought any new jeans recently. So please, by all means, folks, if you want to PayPal Lily and send her some jeans money, that's great. Or we can wait until August and we can buy her breasts. But I will tell you this, and she told me she's doing the breast cast, and I go, that's great. She goes, yes, and then once the breast cast is done, they give it to artists, and the artists tart it up, and then they auction it off. And I go, fuck that. I am not interested in that. If I'm buying tits, I want tits. I don't want somebody to turn them into a country road. Fuck all that. Seriously, if someone told you, hey, look, you know what, we've got Lily's tits, and we're going to do a cast of them, and then we're going to sell it, wouldn't you want it to look like Lily's tits? Of course you would. You wouldn't want some guy to just, draw like a happy face and a fucking dandelion on it. Get bombed. Not interested, pal. Holster your brushes, my friend. I want natural tits. Because that's going up in my living room. That's a conversation piece. If you got painted tits, everybody's like, oh, that's funky and arty. But if you have tits, that's just in your face. That's just like, hey, check out what I bought. Holy shit. Well, I guess you're not fucking around. I'm not. I've given up, quite frankly. I've decided that if I can't talk to her or touch him in any other way, I'm just going to have him right here, and I'm going to fucking stare at him right there. I'm going to put him on the wall like a kind of disembodied torso. But Lily's, first of all, they're not going to fit on a wall. I got to be honest with you. You better find a load-bearing wall or something like that. She said that a friend of hers made a joke because she's going first when they do the cast, and her other friend, Red Snapper, is going second. And her friend said to Lily, hey, do you think they're going to have any plaster left for Red when you're finished? They had to do Red's ass. Oh, dude, don't even get me started on Red Snapper's ass. And I shouldn't even, because she's Red Snapper is a burlesque dancer who's a friend of Lily's. And I like to think a friend of mine, quite frankly. Even though I've never spent any social time with her outside of the time she's wearing a G-string. But... which, considering Red, quite frankly, could be anywhere. I mean, she's another one. I got to tell you, I'm enjoying my friendship with the burlesque dancers. You know, I told you, I went to Sephora, and I was enjoying the leggings as pants craze. Fuck all that. Burlesque dancers are like, leggings? We don't need no stinking leggings. They just fucking rip them off like those pants that a basketball player wears as warm-ups, and he tears off because they got buttons down the side. Literally, burlesque dancers just rip their leggings off. G-string, how you doing? I'd like a latte. Boom. And believe me, if anybody should be walking around in a goddamn G-string at all times, it's Snapper. All right. So, how the fuck did I get on this?
I don't know.
God damn it, the president of funk. He can't control himself. Yes, I talk about myself in the third person. He can't be bothered. But yeah, I don't want. So Lily's breasts will be on sale in August, and I'll tell you when you guys can bid on that. And then, quite frankly, if it's successful, we'll make a lot of smaller casts, and we'll sell we'll make nipple casts and sell them as keychains. I think that's a good move, don't you think? Lily's all for it. She's got a thumbs up.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally.
Anytime you can spend with your tits in plaster, you're all over it. So good. So yeah, it's fun to be here today with a Lily who's vibrant. So sometimes Lily's just like, dude, I could not even be bothered to plug anything in, and I'm like, that's fine. I'll meander through it, and then I will literally set up a boombox and hit play, and then I'll just go, ah! It'll be like Lily laughing. You know, it's like one of those like weird rim shot. You ever have those weird rim shot fake drum machines where you hit it and it's got a cymbal noise and a drum crash? I have one that just has an array of Lily laughs. Because I've recorded them and separated them. I had my team do it. All right, so the fuck was I talking about? Where was I?
Back at Midori.
I'm talking too much. Oh, Midori. There you go. All right, so I'm at the sushi joint, and but how did I? Oh, so anyways, the animated pandas, whatever. So I'm at the sushi joint, and a lot of panda talk on this show. In the past and now, there's past panda and present panda. So hold on, folks. I have to. Sadly, my vocal cords need dousing. Give me 1 second. I apologize. All right. They seem to be vibrating. I'll tell you about that later. All right, so we're at Midori, and it's this sushi place where they have a deal. I don't know how it works, folks, but apparently if you pay cash, you don't have to pay the tax. Like, I think they pay the sales tax. And quite frankly, even telling this story may result in Midori getting raided by the federal government. I have no idea how they're working it. Apparently, the Yakuza has set up a sushi joint, and they're fucking doing everything they can to launder money. I don't know. All I know is I enjoy it's all-you-can-eat sushi, and it's not as good as Katsuya, and we don't get all-you-can-eat. I've told this story a million times. It's the joint I go to that's all-you-can-eat. But anyway, so you have to pay cash, though, in order to save that deal with saving the money. So we're eating, and I realize I don't have any cash, but it's in the same strip mall as a 7-Eleven. So all I got to do is go over there and hit the ATM because, folks, I have a Citibank account, and they don't charge you fees. And I don't know why that's funny at all to Lily. I think it's just because she feels so good about T-shirt and jeans, Lily, that she's willing to laugh at pretty much anything I advance in this show.
Why are you telling them you have a Citibank account? That's what's funny.
Well, I don't know, because it's because people. I don't want people going, dude, you went to an ATM at a 7-Eleven? That had to cost you like $3, because that takes them right out of the show and right out of the story. Because then people, that's what I would think. I would immediately think, wait a minute, dude, you want to save the tax, so you go to an ATM that's not your bank's ATM and you pay the fees? You essentially should have just paid the fucking tax. You know what you should have saved? 36 steps. 18 from the sushi bar to 7-Eleven, 18 back. Because that's what you wound up spending. Seriously, because it would take me completely out of the story.
I'm sorry, I asked.
No, I'm being serious. If someone told me, dude, you know what? It's like when someone goes, because we have a gas station that we go to, and it's like $3.05 a gallon. Okay? There's another gas station that's a block closer, and they're $3.07 a gallon. I will drive the extra block. And then Karen will be like, dude, you just probably burn that gas and go in there. I don't fucking care. I don't even want to let the president of Funk believe that he's doing what he can to save money. So if I heard somebody say, hey, dude, I was in the sushi bar and I had to get cash so I could save the tax, and then I walked over to 7-Eleven, I would think, dude, you're paying the fees anyway. Why the hell are you doing that?
I get it.
All right. Folks, I don't want to take you out of the story. That's the whole point, right? You understand? My favorite part is I don't want to take them out of the story. I myself have bobbed and weaved out of this fucking story like fucking Floyd Mayweather Jr. I mean, it's ridiculous. This story, there's not even a story here. This is me eating sushi. So far, like these people, I'm like, I don't want to take you out of the story. There has not been a story. There's been no goddamn through line. Literally, all we take away from this show is that I hate abortion and I like sushi. That's it. God damn it. There's no story. I mean, I'm so dumb. This is why my vocal cords are fucked. All right. So, I walk over to 7-Eleven because I wanted to get some money. And again, folks, I don't know if you're aware of this. I have a Citibank account, so it doesn't cost me any fees. So it's been rainy and it's been cold here. So I walk out of the house I walk out of the sushi joint, and again, it's 18 steps. I counted to get to the ATM machine. But on step number 9, there's a homeless person outside. There's one of those guys outside of 7-Eleven. But I will tell you, this is not a typical one of those guys, because this is one of those women. All right. Now, I don't mind helping the homeless. I think it's something that you should do occasionally. I'll give them a bottle of water, whatever the fuck I can do. And as we all know, I brought another guy in and helped him out at 7-Eleven, and he got taquitos, whatever. But this woman this is what struck me. All right. She was an older woman, gray hair. And I don't think there should be any homeless ladies. Okay. I understand circumstance, and I understand some people are crazy and something happened, but there should never be homeless ladies. I think guys can handle themselves on the street if worst came to worst. You know what I mean? If they had to push a cart or they had to sleep in the bushes, ladies have a lot more physical stuff to deal with than men. You know what I mean? Men are just dudes, and then you get a shower and you wash up. Ladies, they've got mystery parts that need special attention that you can't find on the street. You know what I mean? So I feel bad for homeless ladies. So, and then even worse, this lady is, she's probably like 55, 50. Who knows? She lives in the street. She could be 24. I got no idea, but she certainly looked like she was 55. I mean, like that fucking shock of gray hair shooting out from under a wool cap. She's a lady. Not only should a lady not be homeless, a lady should not be dressed like a longshoreman. All right. But the thing is, as a lady who's homeless, she needs to dress like a longshoreman to protect the mystery parts from the elements. I understand that. So she's all bundled up, wool cap and crazy like nondescript blue coat and gloves, and it's cold and rainy. And I walk by her, and she says, and very softly she asks for change. Do you have any spare change? And I look at her, and I don't. This is going to sound awful. I don't like to give homeless people money. I don't. I just think it's weird to do. I think that's like kind of this is going to sound, again, I get a lot of people who tell me that I'm a bad person for how I treat the homeless, but that's the way it is. I will try to help them another way. Like I'll give them, like I said, I've given them bottles of water or whatever. So I said to her, I said, you know what? I can't help you today. I'm sorry about that. I said, because she was holding a cup of coffee in her gloved longshoreman hand. And she's holding the 7-Eleven coffee cup, and it's fucking filthy. I mean, it looked awful. It was, and I get a lot of grief from people, like I said, because they think of however I deal with the homeless, blah, blah, blah. But I will tell you this, one thing I do with homeless people is I look them in the eye. I don't walk past. I don't act like they don't exist. I will certainly say, I'm sorry I can't help you today, because that's pretty much my standard answer, because I probably can't help them that day. But if I can, I will. But I will always look them in the face. Because for me, I almost think that's a currency of some sort for someone who is being told that they don't exist. You know what I mean? Someone who lives on the street is just kind of, a lot of people just treat them as a necessary evil or like street ghosts. And I don't feel that's the case. I feel that, unfortunately, things have happened, and that's still a person. So I always make it a point to look them in the face. So this woman, asked me for spare change. I said, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I see this horrible fucking coffee cup, and I look her in the eye, and she had false teeth. And I don't know what it was about just the whole idea of her being a woman, living on the street, having this gray hair coming out, and then false teeth. Now that, we talk about mystery parts, but dude, I can't even imagine the convoluted flowchart you've got to put together to take care of false teeth on the street. I mean, no one wants to see anybody drop Effordent in a puddle. I mean, that's fucking awful. Someone's soaking their temporaries in a goddamn a shallow pool by the curb. Ah! So it just fucking, man, it punched me right in the goddamn heart. And I was like, all right, so, dude, this one you can't just do that. So I said, I can't help you today, but would you like some more coffee? Because she looked like one of my aunts, but just my aunt in a hat. I mean, it was terrible. There's no reason for that woman to be on the street. None whatsoever. I don't know. So she said, and her face, like she kind of lit up. Again, first of all, because I'm talking to her, she's so used to people just blowing by her. And I'm no fucking saint. All right. I'm not looking for everybody to go, oh, you're such a good guy. No, I just did something that I thought I should fucking do. So I'm no hero. I'm just the goddamn president of funk. So I say to her, I go, would you like some coffee? And she lights up and she goes, really? I said, yeah, come on in. And she goes to walk in with the coffee cup. I go, throw that cup away. And she goes, why? I'm going to get more coffee. And I go, look, it's okay. Just, throw the cup away. And trying to be nice about it, but also I'm like, dude, I don't even want to see that fucking cup again. Get rid of it. It looks like she's been drinking Rorschach blots. I mean, that's how fucking horrible it is. So I hold open the door, and she comes in 7-Eleven with me, and I go get your coffee, and I'll meet you at the register. And then I go to the ATM, and it dawns on me, I could actually run. It would be fucking hilarious if I made her pour a hot cup of coffee, and then she went to the counter, and she's like, yeah, it's on the big guy. And all you hear is the ding, 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 and you just see my shoes as they disappear around the corner. What a jag-off. I'm like I do that. I go to 7-Eleven, I'm the coffee magician. I lure the homeless in. It's like, and then I'm literally, that's like the homeless helping equivalent of putting out your hand and going, oh, and slicking back your hair. All right. But that never crossed my mind, seriously. But it did, sort of. But all right. So, but I wasn't going to do it. So I go to the ATM, and I'm getting money, and she's in the back getting coffee. So I go, I get my ATM money, and I walk toward the back, and she's getting her coffee, and she's putting in, whatever, your condiments. I don't drink coffee. And I say to her, are you hungry? And she says, what do you mean? And I said, well, are you hungry? Have you eaten? And she's like, well, I go ahead. I go, pick out something for yourself and get some food. And she's like, are you, seriously? Because again, I don't know if she's just been beaten down so much by life that she can't deal with somebody being nice. And again, this is not on her. Fuck, she lives in the street and she's cleaning she doesn't have clean teeth unless it rains. All right, we've already established that. So I can't fault her for her reaction. I mean, but she was just, this tiny bird that looks like the stiffest wind or the harshest look would absolutely turn her to dust. I mean, it was so heart-wrenching for me, and I can't imagine what it was like for her to meet the president of funk. So I say, go ahead. And so, fuck, this isn't all about me, folks. Let's be honest. She was lucky to have me. All right, so I say, no, it's okay. Go get something to eat. So she goes, well, could I get some? It reminded me of, all right, she said, can I get some trail mix? And it reminded me of the scene in It's a Wonderful Life where George Bailey is handing out everybody their money when the run on the bank occurs, and everyone comes to the building and loan to try to get their fucking money back, and the one guy takes his $200 because he's a jag-off, and everybody else wants their money, and then the fourth woman walks to the counter, and she's this little tiny lady, and he goes, what do you need? And she goes, well, I think $10 would be okay, George. And he's just like, oh, $10, and he fucking gives her a big kiss. He's like, that's exactly perfect. Well, that's why she's like, could I get some trail mix? And I'm like, oh, you know what? Literally, I want to buy a factory of trail mix for you at this point. And so I said, yes. And she goes to get the trail mix. I go, do me a favor. I go, grab a couple of bags. Because it's these big bags of trail mix. And they had 3 of them. I said, you can grab all 3 if you want. And she's like, no. And I said, how about 2? And she goes, 1 for later? I said, I don't know how you want to do it. Like in my brain, I'm like, yes, 1 for later. What the fuck? But so she takes the 2, and then she's now I got coffee, and she's holding the trail mix. I go, do you want anything else? She goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, I mean, they have sandwiches, and then they have those Lunchables. I don't know what's best, but I mean, if you want a sandwich or something. And she leans forward and goes, well, do you think I could get a sandwich? Now, I'm helping this lady, and I have empathy, and she's kind of like my aunt, and she's like a small, frail wisp of a woman who is, her life has essentially been reduced to that of the plastic bag in American Beauty. That's who she is. She lives on the street, and whatever the wind is going to do, she's going to do it. But I was still able to find her to be beautiful in her own way, because it's just terrible that she's out in the street, and it's terrible that these things are happening, and I'm trying to do what I can to help her. But I'm also still me. So she leans forward and says, this is after, seriously, some coffee? What, trail mix? That's amazing. And then I said, you want a sandwich? And she goes, she leans forward and goes, could I get a sandwich? And I go, look, if I said you could get a sandwich, go get a sandwich. You don't need to act like I'm buying you a car. Get a sandwich. Because I am a fucking jagoff. But I couldn't help myself because, look, I'm Lenny from Of Mice and Men. I can only pet the rabbit so long before I snap its fucking neck. That's who I am as a guy, all right? Because I've done everything I can to internalize all of my venom and cynicism and sarcasm to help this poor woman and get her whatever she wants, and I'm trying to do it, and I'm trying to do it in a nice way. Because, again, it's what I wanted to do. I genuinely felt for her. And I wanted her to have coffee and sandwiches and Christ. And I also recognized my getting angry there was also caged fury about the fact that I couldn't do more. That I couldn't get her a hotel or a car or get her off the street or some goddamn real teeth or a fucking comb or, get her off the docks and so she didn't have to work unloading boats, whatever the fuck she does in her coat and gloves. I mean, it was a reaction to the situation because, again, I can only cradle a baby chick so long before I fucking smash it into a goddamn poof of feathers. So I go, look. If you want a sandwich, get a sandwich. You don't have to ask me like I'm buying you a car. And she makes this face, because then part of me is, I guess, I don't know if in my brain I'm like, you know what? Treat her like a real person. And you know how I treat real people? Like shit. I like treating the homeless like I treat everybody, like a goddamn jagoff. That's who I am. The president of funk suffers no fools, whether they sleep in the bushes or not. So she makes this kind of like yelp like face like, dude. And I catch myself and I'm like, yes, please get a sandwich, get 2, get whatever you'd like. As I realize that I need to fucking grab the chain and yank myself back before I take a chunk out of fucking homeless Joan. Asshat. Just horrible. So she gets her food and she gets her trail mix and everything, and she comes over and puts it all on the counter, and then we get to the counter and I said, "Do you need a lighter? I don't know, for warmth? I mean, I don't know." And then they had hand heaters too, and I was like, "Would you like one of those or any of this?" And she was very quiet, and she's very nice, and so I bought her stuff, and then she walked out first, and the counter guy, the 7-Eleven guy, looks at me and goes, "Why you do that?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Why you do that?" I said, "Why'd I do what?" He goes, Why you buy food for her?" I said, What do you mean?" And he goes, "She here every day. She won't go away. Why you buy food for her?" I said, "Because she's here every day and she won't go away." And now I want to fight this fucking guy. Like I just said right back to him, and he just goes, "Well, she can't stand out front." I go, "You just explained why she can't leave. You just explained it." And I'm like, Karen's next door waiting for me to come back with the cash. What the fuck are you doing? Are you going to fight everybody in this goddamn joint? So I just I walked out. And I walked past her, and it was so, it enraged me, his attitude. Again, it was just that, and again, look, I've walked past homeless people. I've looked them in the eye and tried to talk to them and had them, drool on themselves, whatever the fuck. I don't know. It happens all the time. But in this particular instance, I wanted to do something, and it was so funny. I was glad that guy reinforced why I helped her. Because, it's guys like that make her stand outside and meekly ask for change. You know what I mean? And it's guys like me who fucking yell at her, who make her never want to ask for change again. I don't care how friendly the guy is. She's never. Literally, that she ate that sandwich and that trail mix, and then she made something to herself just so she wouldn't have to deal with a fucking jagoff like me ever again.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later tonight, Count Chocula and the AIDS Quilt on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And now, The 40-Year-Old Boy presents A Tale from the Road.
Cincinnati, 1997. I'm on the road, and the thing is, I go there Friday morning, and the thing is, when you're on the road, you never know who you're going to work with. You just show up in town and they tell you. And that particular weekend, I find out I'm working with a satanic doo-wop group. Yeah, I didn't even know there was one that existed, let alone getting booked across the country. But that week, I got to follow them.
Oh, Lucifer, you're the one. You got that forky tongue, and you're covered in scales.
Fortunately, they were great. Unfortunately, I had to follow them. And let me tell you something, folks. I chewed it that night. Horrible.
This has been A Tale from the Road from the 40-Year-Old Boy.
I did not get a chance to listen to last week's show, so yes, I've been very busy, I may repeat myself. I don't know if I said these things last week, but I'm going to tell you what's going on. My voice is shot. I don't know what the hell's wrong, but the last few weeks, you can even hear it, like it's ragged now from just doing the first, half hour or so of the show, and I don't know. So in my brain, this has been happening for weeks and weeks, and then I'm like, well, you know what, stupid, you don't drink any tea, and as if that's the miracle cure. Listen, and by all means, when you're telling yourself things, address yourself as stupid when you're concerned with medical issues about your body. Well, first of all, stupid, you don't drink any tea. Again, what am I in a band in the 60s? Why is that supposed to help me? I should just go home and put a bottle of honey down my throat. Doesn't that work? All right. So my voice is shot. So last week I finally decided, I'm like, well, and I will tell you this, not only is my voice ragged, but I've had a sore throat for like a month, like trouble swallowing. And Lili says that she thinks I talked about this last week. I don't remember because, again, I did not listen to last week's show. But the bottom line is I went on the internet, folks. The internet is not your friend. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's so funny. I just read an article in Esquire magazine. There's an economist, and he was named one of the people to watch by Esquire. But the funny thing is he's named one of the people to watch, and so is like Dana White, who runs the UFC. So I'm, no offense, economist, but I'm going to take that with a big grain of fucking salt. So he was talking about how they need to help third world countries and underdeveloped countries and poor countries because they need to educate them and they need to get them the internet because it's a tool that they really need. And I'm here to tell you that is a fucking mistake. I don't think anybody in Bora Bora needs to have instant access to Miranda Kerr in a bikini. Does that make any? Because then you think the internet is going to help them with their infrastructure? If anything, it's just going to give them a reason to go in their house and ignore their infrastructure. I mean, seriously, if you've been at your house, how many times you've gone, you know what, I really should clean out the garage. But wait a minute, I think there's some gag porn that I wanted to check out too. So I don't know if I'm going to get to the garage. Christ. You know what? I could clean out the garage or I could go look at some gaper photos. I don't know what I'm going to do. You know what, quite frankly, the garage and the gaper photo, kind of the same thing, except with the gaper photo, I'm not going to go ahead and find an old baseball mitt in somebody's ass. All right, so... So I don't think anybody needs the internet because it is not your friend. It's one of the greatest inventions of the age for baseball scores and porn. But as far as getting a society to advance, I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry. I go on the internet. I know that the society is not advancing. I don't think people calling me a dumb shit is making anybody better or smarter. And quite frankly, the 99% of you who send me wonderful emails, yes, we're all making the internet smarter. I love hearing about stuff on the internet. That's great. But as I'm sitting here, Lili opens a picture of Demi Moore's hairy pussy. Like, literally, her friend emailed that to her. That's what the internet's for, folks. The internet is not for advancing civilizations. Do you think the people of Haiti are like, God damn it, I wish we could get to What Would Tyler Durden Do and find out what Lucy Pinder's wearing today? No! That's not going to help anybody climb out of rubble. That's not helping anybody at all, for Christ's sake. Good God. Nobody in Haiti is going, oh, I wish there was some way we could somehow access the internet and see Greg Oden's cock. I need to. That's going to help rebuild the presidential capital. Oh, no, it isn't. Stop. The internet is not your friend. Again, it's your friend if you want porn and baseball scores. That's great. Or shitty sports analysis that nobody needs. Right. Or old clips of television shows. Fantastic. But that helps in those civilizations. Oh. You know what it's really not good for? Diagnosing illnesses. I can tell you that. Because I went to WebMD and I went to the Mayo Clinic and I put in my symptoms and, you know what? I take that back. It actually is really good at diagnosing illnesses. It just takes a scattershot approach to it because it tells you, it gives you the fucking full rainbow of what you could have. So I went in there and I put in my symptoms. I've had a sore throat for about a month. I have white spots in my throat. My voice is hoarse, and I have a really swollen lymph glands. Like I got a fucking golf ball on the left side of my neck, and I put all that in. And folks, you'll be happy to know that I have tonsillitis, or periodontitis, or syphilis, or throat cancer, or laryngitis. And you can insert another 16 illnesses that came up with those motherfucking symptoms. Are you shitting me? Really? So I got to be honest with you. I went from being, well, fuck, there's something wrong with me. Because I thought it was a node or a polyp on my vocal cords because I talk a lot and I don't fucking take care of my voice. Again, I should be chugging soup all day long, but I don't. So I'm like, fuck, I got to figure out what this is. So I called and finally made a doctor's appointment. Because again, folks, when you have a sore throat, what do? You bust out a lozenge and then you go, my sore throat will go away eventually, right? But it's so funny. I'm the guy who's advocated, I'm like, look, I have insurance. I'm a guy who has insurance, so I should, if my hair hurts, I should go to the goddamn doctor and go, what's going on? Because for $15, they'll tell me whatever the fuck I want. That's great. They'll fix it, taken care of, done. But instead, this time I got this sore throat, and I was like, I figured it's because I talk a lot. But then it wouldn't go away. So finally last week I made a doctor's appointment. I went in, and I expected, dude, you got a throat infection. Here's some penicillin and go on your way. Take care of yourself. Instead, I got in and I sat with my doctor and he looks in my mouth and he goes, ooh. That's not a good noise coming from a medical professional. Particularly looking into your mouth. Like if he sees a nasty bruise on your arm or like a cut or something, I expect that. But if he's looking at your cock, your mouth, or your ass and he says, ooh, there's trouble. I have to quote my friends in Journey, the party's over. So he goes, ooh. And I said, what? And he goes, shh. And then he grabs my neck and he goes, oh, yeah, you're real swollen right there. And I said, yeah. And I said, not really so much on the right, but certainly on the left. It's like a golf ball in my neck. And then he goes, well, you definitely got white patches and it looks like blisters in your throat. And I said, is that from talking? And he goes, no, you don't generally get blisters in your throat from talking, which I guess is a good move because, quite frankly, my throat would look like the bottom of a marathoner's foot at this point because I have done nothing but destroy my fucking voice and throat. Here's how little I've taken care of my voice in my life. When I was a kid, I would yell as loud as I could for as long as I could. I'm not kidding you, just to do it. I would challenge myself to hold a long note as long as I possibly could, as loudly as I could. And I would do it where I would have to, my mom actually used me as a tool. She would say, dude, my mom would rarely call me dude, but, but she would say, all right, it's time to eat, go get everybody. So I would go out and I would be on an empty block. All right. You could not see anybody, but nothing but townhomes. All right. And I would go out to that block. And I would yell my brother's names. And I would yell them like fucking air raid siren style until they came home. Like this, you know what, I'm going to do it. Hold on. I'm going to try and do it. Like, you're just like, well, I can't, well, this is stupid. I can't do it because my voice is fucking shot if I yell, but it would just be like, and long. I mean, I would do it for a minute. I would hold the note, and then I would just say, time to eat. Then I'd go back in the house. And then inevitably they would show up because you could hear me for fucking miles around. I mean, I'm loud. I'm loud to the point where, like, we would I told you, we'd go to baseball and basketball games, and you could fucking hear me. Like, if I would heckle, you could absolutely hear my voice booming through the entire joint. So, anyway, so I've done nothing but kick my voice in the balls. And he looks at my throat, and he's like, yeah, you got white patches, and you got this swelling, and, I said, well, look, and now I'm trying to find reasons for why it is, other than the fact that I can't stop fucking talking. So I said to him, hey, I just started this regimen with of oral hygiene, because as we all know, I've been to the dentist the last few months, and I've now I've thrown myself in, folks, 150% into. I floss 3 times a day, I brush 3 times a day, and I use mouthwash 3 times a day. I just fucking I'm hooked on it now. Because I'm an addict. I can't do anything halfway. And if I wake up and I forget to floss. This happened to me. I woke up and I forgot to floss. I made myself stop and buy floss in the car because I'm like a freaky weirdo, because I don't ever want to go to the dentist again and have them go, dude, because then I would think I was talking to my mom. But so I've maintained that I'm going to have spectacular teeth when I die. So when my skull goes to a high school biology class, they'll just be like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with his head, but look at his teeth. They're amazing. So I'm that guy now. I'm I guess it's OCD or whatever the fuck it is, but I'm obsessed. So I said to him, I go, look, I've used this mouthwash 3 times a day, and actually the last time I saw my dentist, I told him that I was having gum soreness, but not like. I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was feeling weird. And he goes, oh, you know what? He goes, that might be because you're sleeping with the mouthwash in your mouth. Go ahead and get this stuff called Biotine, which is like a non-harmful mouthwash, whatever the fuck. So I got to use that at night. So in the daytime, I use my blue mouthwash. At night, I use my Biotine. And so now I'm telling the doctor all this, and meanwhile, my vocal cords are even shredding even more by this long explanation, as I basically try to tap dance a reason why there are goddamn white tracks and blisters in my throat. So he says, well, I'll tell you what. He goes, I'm going to prescribe you a mouthwash. I don't want you using any of your mouthwash anymore. Hold off. I'll prescribe you a mouthwash. You use that. I said, okay. And he said, we'll run a culture on what's going on. And then I will tell you this, he took like a really long Q-tip swab, and he put it all the way in the back of my throat, and he took a couple cultures, and I was just sitting there as he's doing it with my mouth open, and he's taking the cultures. He took 2. And then he went to take a 3rd one, and I gagged, like on the 3rd one, and I was like, oh. And because he put it all the way in the back, but he had done that with the previous 2, and I was fine. So he put the 3rd one back there, and I go, and he goes, are you okay? And I go, yeah. And he goes, all right. And I go, well, was there a problem on that one? And he goes, no. He goes, actually, I kind of did the 3rd one to get on that side, but also I couldn't believe you didn't gag on the first 2. He goes, I don't know how anybody could have a Q-tip, like a swab put in their throat and not even flinch. So then I'm like, well, what am I now, a goddamn experiment for you? He's like, no, I needed a 3rd culture, but it just was, I'm just making sure you're okay, because the first 2, you didn't flinch at all. You got a swab halfway down your goddamn throat. So I'm like, all right, weirdo. So he takes the cultures, and I take the mouthwash, and I split. And I should also tell you that, I asked him to make an appointment. He told me I need to make an appointment with an ENT. He says, go see an eye, nose, and throat guy. Ear, nose, and throat? Ear, nose, and throat. No, actually, I'm seeing an eye, nose, and throat. He told me to make an appointment with that guy, and I go, look, do me a favor. Anytime you're going to make an appointment with a specialist, they're always like, I can see you in a month and a half. I go, dude, the internet told me I have throat cancer. So I want to see this guy. He goes, well, don't get worked up about that. I go, I know, but it's like, I have every symptom. And he goes, really, don't get worked up, because that's the problem is people go on WebMD and they get told all this different stuff. He goes, we'll take your cultures. We'll figure it out. You'll be fine. I said, okay. So I go home and I call the ENT to make an appointment. Of course, they can't see me for 2 weeks. And this is my favorite thing. They can't see me till February 4th. And I think it was February 4th is Wednesday, right? They can't see me till February 3rd. So I say to them, no, that's no good because I'm on a plane on the 3rd. And I said, and also my doctor said that I kind of need to be seen earlier because I don't know if you folks have heard, the internet says I have throat cancer. and she says, okay, I can get you in February 2nd at 3:45 p.m. Really? Thank you for that. Thank you for squeezing me in 10 hours before when you were going to squeeze me in before. That really alleviates all of my concerns. So I make that fucking appointment because what else are you going to do? Hit the rack, wait for my voice to, straighten out and whatever. And I use the mouthwash. And I should tell you that. Oh, and also I got to swallow this mouthwash. This stuff that he gave me. It's an antibiotic mouthwash. So I fucking squirt it in my mouth, and it tastes like melted candy corn. So I guess it's not awful. I don't like candy corn either, but at least, believe me, for all the things it could have tasted like, I mean, it could have just tasted like a throat punch, which I don't fucking want. So I'm just like, all right, I can deal with this. So I squirt it in my mouth, I swish it around, I swallow it, and it's not bad. It goes down, and my throat still hurts. Go to sleep. Wake up the next day. There's a message on my machine from the doctor. He's like, hey, your cultures have come back. So I'm going to go ahead and prescribe a prescription for you called Levaquin. So call the office, and they'll go ahead and they'll call it into your pharmacy for you. Okay? Great. Thanks. Hangs up. Well, that doesn't tell me a fucking thing. It just tells me I got to take Levaquin. I don't know what the hell that is. So I immediately turn to our friend the internet.
Oh, no.
And I Google Levaquin. Levaquin is used in the treatment of anthrax. That's the first thing that comes up. Now, that's jarring. So I read more on it, and it's an antibiotic, but it's a super strong antibiotic for bacterial infections. And so my mind starts racing. I'm like, well, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I call the doctors. I was like, look, I need to come and see the doctor. They go, he's out for the rest of the day. I said, well, okay, he wants this prescription filled. They go, great, give us your pharmacy and we'll fill it. I go, but I need to know what it's for. Like, I need to know what's happening. And they go, well, he's already out because my doctor's only in like 3 hours at a time. Like he's in from 9 to 12 or he's in from 1 to 4 because he works in a hospital. He's one of those guys. And so I'm like, well, I need to know when can I see him? And she goes, well, how about tomorrow at 1 o'clock? Great, done. I'm in. That just gives me a full night of worrying that I need to worry about. So I immediately turn back to the internet and I Google Levaquin. And like I said, I read it and it's got all these horrible side effects. Like it causes the blowing out of the Achilles tendon in the elderly. I mean, it's like the weirdest medicine I've ever read in my life. And it says it can cause bloody diarrhea and sore throat, all these horrible things. And I'm like, dude, I have that now. I don't fucking want a medicine. I want one that's going to clear it up. I don't want one that's going to fucking bring that on. Just the weirdest, it blows out the Achilles tendon in the elderly? Are you fucking kidding me? So then I read down, there's like a class action lawsuit, all these different things. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm supposed to fucking take this stuff? And it says it's like the next step from Cipro. Like, I mean, I'm like, what is wrong with me? So then, something I had never even thought of doing, but I do, I Googled the mouthwash. Because I've been taking that studiously for a full day and a half now. So I Google, it's like Nimistin. I don't know. It's another antibiotic. I Google it. It comes up. It says it's for fungal infections of the mouth. Now, I didn't think I had a fungal infection in my mouth. I thought I was a guy who used too much mouthwash. Doesn't that seem antithetical? Like, if you're using that much mouthwash, wouldn't it be fighting against the fungus? It wouldn't be encouraging, would it? So I fucking lose it. I go right to the mirror. I go to look in my mouth to find... Because, again, I hear fungal infection of the mouth. I think I better have a goddamn ringworm patch right there on my goddamn gums. Dudes, I am a freak. I'm an idiot. When I was a little kid, anytime my head itched, I thought I had lice. I'm that guy. I'm not a hypochondriac, but if I get to thinking about it, I'm fucking doomed. So sure enough, I go to the mirror and I look at my mouth and I'm expecting to find, you know what I'm expecting to find? Like the mouth of Sauron. That's what I'm expecting to find. I'm expecting to look in the mirror and like that guy out of the Lord of the Rings, I've talked about him before. It's the greatest character in the deleted scene. Go look it up right now. The mouth of Sauron is literally a helmet with a gigantic mouth full of fangs with black liquid coming out of his mouth. That guy's got a fungal infection of the mouth. I look at me, all I see is one bad tooth that's like kind of jutting out. I mean, the rest of my mouth looks normal. Where's this goddamn fungal infection I've heard about? But I didn't stop me from staring. I'm waiting for fucking Viggo Mortensen to cut my goddamn head off. Because quite frankly, that would be preferable at this point to having a fungal infection of the mouth. Goddamn, I don't want to be the mouth of Sauron. I mean, he's cool and everything, but look at the guy. Nobody wants to talk to that guy. There's nobody in that route who's willing to treat with him. Nobody. I can tell you this. That so I fucking lose it. I go, all right. Well, obviously I don't have a fungal infection of the mouth, at least not to my eyes. So I go back to the computer and I keep reading. It's for fungal infections in the mouth, like thrush. All right, let's Google thrush.
Oh, shit.
So I Google thrush, and thrush comes up, and you know who gets thrush, folks? AIDS patients get thrush. So now I've got a fucking huge swollen lymph gland. I've got white spots and tracts in my throat. I've got fungus in my mouth that could be thrush. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but apparently he thought it was, so he gave me a goddamn mouthwash. I put all that in. Fucking AIDS comes up. AIDS. Syphilis is looking quaint. So I lose my shit. I'm just like, and the thing is, I will tell you this too. The worst part about this, folks, I'm up all night. Not because I want to be. I have to be because I'm in fucking Graveyardville, and that is nothing but an echo chamber for a guy who thinks he might have a horrible disease. Because there's nothing to do at 3 a.m. after poker ends on NBC, but delve in the dark recesses of your mind and go, fuck, could AIDS live in my body for the last 20 years? Could that possibly have happened? Because I've been with Karen since 93, and that's it. I've been with Karen since 93, and she's it. But then I start Googling, and I'm looking, and it says AIDS, these symptoms show up 8 to 20 years is when full-blown AIDS shows up. So I'm like, 20 years? Well, I've only 93, carry the 4, 6. Holy shit. That leaves 16 with Karen. That leaves 4 full years of a lot of business that I need to worry about. And the thing is, I don't. All I do is, again, you're sitting there all night long, you're thinking, fuck, thrush, oh my God, I have AIDS? How did I get AIDS? It's been 20 years. It fucking stayed in my body all that long? But that's what you do, because I completely discount every medical test I've had in the ensuing 16 years. I've had blood removed. I've had blood work countless times. I've had surgery. I've had all these different things. Not once did they go, hey, by the way, you're HIV positive. Never once. Wasn't even an issue. Didn't even come up. But now I'm in my fucking head. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. So now I'm Googling AIDS and thrush and Levaquin and AIDS and Levaquin and syphilis and all these different diseases, throat cancer and Levaquin. I'm like reading, and it's on my iPhone too. So now I'm fucking blind from reading this shit all night long. I'm just squinting like an animated panda, scrolling through looking for fucking information. So I can barely sleep. I'm like sweaty. I come home and I tell Karen, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It's like, this is a fungal medication. She's trying to calm me down. Thank God. Thank God she's there. And she's like, you're being crazy. And I'm like, I know. And I don't even say to her, thrush equals AIDS equals this. You know what I mean? Because then that's going to open up a whole fucking can of worms for her where she's going to be like, why are you even thinking of that nonsense? Because the internet told me. The internet said 20 years. Well, yeah, but you've had tests for 16 years. I know that, but I don't want to fucking hear that. So I lose my mind all Monday night. Yesterday's Tuesday. I go in at 1 o'clock. I'm right at the fucking doctor, 1 o'clock. And the sad part is, like I said, he opens at 1. You know what I mean? He's there at 1 o'clock. So I walk in the door, and it looks like the cast of Murder Ball is waiting to be seen. It is just nothing but gray hair and wheelchairs. Like, there's literally like 9 wheelchairs of people waiting to see him. It looks like a Veterans Day parade stopped off. I mean, it's just horrendous. They should be waving flags, and Ron Kovic should be pissing on the floor. So I'm freaking out. I get in, I sign my name, and now, like, I don't know if I'm contagious. I don't know if this shit in my throat is contagious. I don't know what it is. I'm freaked. So I go into the doc. They finally bring me into the waiting room, and then they weigh me. I've lost 6 pounds since my last visit. Well, not since the Monday visit, but since literally they weighed me Monday, and I weighed 334 from a high of 340 the last time I was in to see the doctor. And in my head, I was like, in the middle of the night, dude, it also says if you lose weight. So now I'm losing weight. I've got, thrush. I've got white spots. I don't know what the hell's happening. So I'm just a fucking mess. I'm sitting in the doctor's office. He finally comes in, and I go, all right, look, I went on WebMD, and he immediately just rolls his eyes like, why are you doing that? I said, well, I went to the Mayo Clinic, and I said, you know what? I Googled the medicine you gave me, and it says it's for thrush, and thrush says it's for AIDS, and then I don't know what's – and he goes – I go, what is it? What is in my throat? He goes, you have a bacterial infection in your throat. You have E. coli poisoning or, an E. coli infection. I said, what? He goes, you have E. coli in your throat. He goes, it's not a natural occurrence. It doesn't happen a lot. People get infected with E. coli in their abdomen, and I go, yeah, and they die, like at Jack in the Box, right? He goes, yeah, it's from uncooked ground beef or from raw vegetables, or you may have eaten somewhere and it wasn't clean or something, but somehow you've become infected with E. coli. I said, that explains like the lymph node and all that. And he goes, well, you still need to see the ENT about your swollen glands, but I'm pretty sure that if you take this Levaquin for 7 days and you use the mouthwash, it's going to knock it right out. I go, so the mouthwash is for what? I go, dude, I'm reading about thrush. I'm reading about all these different things and syphilis. And now I got a sore on my leg I want him to look at. I go, I think it's an ingrown hair, but who knows? It could be a chancre. I don't know what the fuck it is. Can you take a look at it? He's like, you got to calm down. I go, look, I know, but can you just do blood work on me so I'm sure that I'm clear of everything? He goes, what do you mean? And I go, I'll take it all. What do you got? And he goes, well, what do you mean? Like a blood panel? And I go, dude, like give me an AIDS test and syphilis and give me all that stuff. That's fine. And he goes, I mean, all right, if for your peace of mind, if that's what you want, then I'll do it. I said, good, do it, because I just want to make sure that I'm fucking fine. And he's like, I'm guaranteeing you they will be negative. And I go, okay, thanks for that, but let's go ahead and do it, because I don't know what to do. So he goes, well, just keep taking the Levaquin, whatever you've got in your throat, the E. coli will be knocked out. I go, how did I get that? He goes, you know what? You might have had an acid reflux, and that might have caused something like that. He goes, honestly, it just happens. Sometimes you get infected with stuff, and then you take medicine, and it just knocks it out. So now I don't know if that's him being like a reassuring doctor, or if he just wants to fucking get rid of me, and he's trying to connect the dots for me. Like, dude, calm the fuck down. You're okay. But sometimes you get stuff, and sometimes you take medicine, and it knocks it out. So I can tell you now that I still have a sore throat. I've only taken Levaquin twice. I guess I have E. coli in my throat and using the mouthwash. I'm waiting for my blood work to come back. God knows if there's going to be tragic news in that. If something from 20 years ago has reared its ugly head, it was like hiding behind a kidney and went, you know what? I'm going to fuck this guy up. I have no idea how it works. Dude, I'm not Slim Goodbody. I don't have a fucking unitard with everything inside me. I don't know what that is. I just know what the internet tells me, and the fucking internet tells me I am ill. So hopefully the blood work comes back fine. But I will tell you this: when he told me I had E. coli and that I'm walking around, and again, I will tell you this: I feel fucking great, folks. Literally, it's from the voice box up to the jaw where there's a problem, but the rest of me is functioning perfectly. I think I'm fine. But it turns out that I have E. coli in that small area, but the rest of me is functioning properly. So what I take from this is, folks, I am unkillable. I'm not fucking kidding you. I am indestructible. I used to think it before. I told you, I've been hit by a car. I've fallen from great heights. I was walking down a staircase once covered in ice. I slipped, went ass over elbow, and landed so hard I smashed all the ice on the porch. Got up, brushed myself off, and walked away. I am fucking unkillable. So take that, E. coli, and take that, lurking AIDS, and take that, fake syphilis hiding somewhere in the recesses of my goddamn brain from 20 years ago when I banged somebody I shouldn't have. Yeah, that's right. Bring it on. I used to be a bouncer. I had 3 different guys punch me in one night. I had a gun to my fucking head. And I sit here today and still tell you that I panic like a sissy when I find out that I got a goddamn cough. First sign of tickling in my throat, and I immediately leap to AIDS. What the hell is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with me? You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at MySpace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You guys can get me at Facebook. Go be my Facebook friend before I perish. At Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. And also make sure you go to be Lili Von Stupp's friend at Facebook, Facebook.com/Lili Von Stupp. And also follow me on Twitter, Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. And again, remember to use the number 40 for Twitter and for Facebook. And also for Lili Von Stupp, you can follow her at Monday Night Teas. That's MNTees.com. No, MNTees at Twitter. Twitter.com at MNTees. No? Twitter.com/MNTees. And also, if you want to write Lili a personal note and tell her how hot she looks in these jeans and T-shirts, you can go ahead and write her at Lili at burlesque411.com. That's Lili, Lili, at burlesque411.com. Hey, what's happening? It's me, Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year One download set that's available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. It's got all the original music. It's got all the original episodes of Year One, 52 solid episodes of comedy. And it's also got all the liner notes that I wrote for the original episodes themselves. So go ahead and order that. Pick it up. You'll enjoy Year One just as much as you're enjoying Year Two right now. What? That noise in the background? Oh, yeah, that's me beating the dead horse as I try to sell you Year One over and over again. So go ahead and pick up the Year One download set from MikeSchmidtComedy.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 40-Year-Old Boy. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast. I should point out to you folks, I don't have thrush. I because I saw pictures of it, and I don't have that. Jesus Christ, but it doesn't matter. It didn't stop me from thinking about it. Remember that every Monday night is the Monday Night Teas at the 3 clubs in Santa Monica and Vine, every Monday night at 10 o'clock. Hey, Lili, who's coming this week?
We have Lindsay Benner, who is a juggler that is fucking amazing and hot. Oh, my God, is she hot.
Oh, it's a lady.
Holy shit, is she hot.
All right, good. Then that's all I wanted to hear. Lindsay Benner, a hot juggler, which, I mean, does any of that sentence make sense? No, but yes. Who cares? Go and check it out because I'm hearing that she's crazy hot, and Lily's making ball juggling hand motions. So maybe Lindsay Benner's a ball juggler. I have no idea. All I can tell her is what I've learned this week: wash your hands at all times to avoid infection. That's what the internet told me. So go to the Monday Night Teas at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. That is at 10 o'clock every Monday night. Again, follow her at twitter.com/MNTees. And also you can, is there a Facebook fan page or anything like that for Monday Night Teas? Not yet, but there will be eventually. So, and also remember, if you're from this show and you go to the show and you go to the Monday Night Teas, make sure you smack Lili in the ass and tell her it's from the 40-Year-Old Boy. One person's eventually going to do it. I know. I also wanted to tell you guys that I did a podcast, a different podcast. Now, when you hear this podcast, my voice will sound strong and virile, as opposed to right now, where it sounds like I have a throat full of string cheese. But on this show, I will sound really great. It's a show called The Biggest Mistake podcast, hosted by my friends Paul J. and Dan Dominguez and their producer Jen. So you might want to download The Biggest Mistake and listen to it. I would if I was you, and you would hear my voice being really strong because I recorded this podcast, I think, in June. I don't remember because here's how these guys did it. They decided, you know what would be funny if we did a 12-hour podcast? Wouldn't that be fucking hysterical? Well, sure it would. I thought they were then going to put it up as a 12-hour podcast, which would make no sense because then nobody would ever hear it. But no, they were going to break it up into pieces, which I guess makes sense, but doesn't it defeat the entire concept of the 12-hour podcast? Because now all people are getting are standalone episodes, and late in the night, they're fucking terrible because it was a 12-hour podcast. And I tell you that as a way to tell you that guess when I went up? Yeah, 12th. You're right. The only thing I could think of, and I thought it at the time, was they asked me to do it, and they were like, what time do you want to come in? And I'm like, I'd really like to do it like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Great, we'll see you at 9 that night, or whatever. Or no, it was, because they started at 9 in the morning, and I got there at like 9 or 10. And the only thing I could think of was along the lines of what I was thinking about podcast, where if you've been talking for 12 hours, wouldn't you want me to be your closing hitter at that point? Because You two could just shut up and let me talk fucking forever. Well, I thought that was the case, but then I go in and do the show, and there's people hanging around. It's like a party after. It's like, literally like Playboy After Dark, but it was like Podcast After Dark is what it was, because there's like 80 people in the fucking room. So go listen to it and listen, and it was great. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad that Dan and Paul asked me to do it. So please check out the Biggest Mistake podcast. I remember at one point like fighting with somebody, like going, "You want to do?" I remember distinctly using the phrase, "You want to do this?" I really think I said that. So go hear in what context I said it. I also wanted to go ahead and point this out. I had a listener of the show, a young man named Adam. I don't want to say Adam's last name because he doesn't want people to know he listens to this fucking show. But he wrote me on Facebook, and he sent me to a link where an artist has made posters that are kind of like abstract posters he created for Tarantino movies. And they are posters of, there's one of Reservoir Dogs, Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill 1, Kill Bill 2, Jackie Brown, Pulp Fiction, and Death Proof. There's 7 total posters. What you want to do is you want to go to IbrahimYousef.com. Or you can go to shop.IbrahimYousef.com. And it's IbrahimYousef.com. And I got to tell you, when I saw them, I got goosebumps, because what he does is he doesn't just do a mock-up of the poster art. He actually uses something from the film and then creates an image with that's iconic if you know the movies. Okay, so that's the thing, is if you're a Tarantino guy like I am, the second I saw these posters, I wanted all of them. Granted, they're unfortunately $100, but next Christmas, think of me, folks, if you want to get me something. And if the entire fan base wants to just pool their money and get me one, get me the Kill Bill one. And Kill Bill 1, because there's Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. All of them are amazing, okay? And I love Reservoir Dogs so much. It's my favorite movie. But this poster that he did for Kill Bill, I have goosebumps telling you about it because of the image. It was so iconic and great. I can't stress this enough. I don't know this guy, never met this guy, don't know anything about him. All I know is if you go to IbrahimYousef.com and check out these posters, you will not be disappointed. I want to thank Adam for showing them to me, because, Jesus, they were just amazing. And for my money, they should be in the lexicon. Like, Tarantino needs to see them, and he needs to own all of them and frame them and put them up in his house, so every Asian hooker who's crazed out of her mind on blow can stare at them while he bangs them doggy style and talks to them about French films. So that's what I think should happen. So I would go visit that and check out the posters. But again, I can't stress enough, all of them are great, but that Kill Bill one, woof, man, I have goosebumps now. And now I got to stop fucking talking before my throat explodes. This is brutal. Because again, it still lurks. The E. coli still lurks. And I have no idea how I asked him how he thought I got it. He's like, from hamburger or whatever. And I don't eat a lot of meat, like a lot of beef. I eat seafood, and I eat raw seafood. But everything I looked at on the internet, which again, we all know we should trust, none of them have fingered seafood in the E. coli thing. In ground beef, the only thing I can think of is there's a taco place by my house that I had never tried. We've driven past it a million times in the 10 years or so we've lived here. And Karen and I, the first time we ever drove by, it was me, Karen, and her friend Vicky was in town visiting. And I saw rats. Like, I saw 2 rats run behind the building because it's like a standalone taco shed. And I'm like, dude, I just saw rats. And they're like, you didn't see any rats. I'm like, seriously, I swear to God, I just saw 2 rats behind that building. And it didn't matter because we weren't going there. But then I said, I'm never going there, ever in a million years. So then every time we would drive by it, I'd go, rats. And Karen goes, there's no rats. So not that angry, but she still said there's no rats. So we were driving by again, and Karen goes, I read an article, and the Olsen twins picked that as their favorite taco place. Now listen, folks. If you're looking for recommendations on Mexican food, is there any better pair to turn to than the Olsen twins? I ask you. 2 women built like postage stamps. Yeah, I want to go eat where they eat. Absolutely. Yeah, so now I stopped there, and the reason is it's only ground beef tacos. They don't have any chicken. They don't have anything. And I will tell you this, on the board when you get a burrito, it just says meat. It doesn't even say beef or chicken or carne asada. Nope, it just says meat burrito. So now that I think about it, you know what? I may have gotten the E. coli from eating there and their mystery meat burrito. But that doesn't necessarily invalidate the Olsen twins' suggestion because, again, when you look at them, Maybe they are looking for a taco stand that will make sure they are too sick to eat. Maybe this is their logic. Maybe Mary-Kate and Ashley are like, Jesus, we've been putting on some weight. We need to go over to Henry's Tacos and knock down... I can't say the name. Should I say the name?
Why not?
Who the fuck cares? I don't know. I got sick. What are they going to do? Sue me? Go ahead, Henry. You and your rats can take me to goddamn court because I'll tell you what, that'd be a great court case because the first thing I'm doing is subpoenaing Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen because I want to get to the bottom of this. I want to find out if they eat there mainly because of the E. coli. You know what? It might have just said meat coli. Maybe I misread the menu. I don't know, but whatever it is, it lodged in my goddamn throat and it has caused me to go ahead and obsess. And as my wife would surely say to you, well, at least you got something to talk about in your podcast, but so fucking what? I got something to talk about in my podcast, but as I talk about it, you can hear how shredded my goddamn vocal cords from the fucking infection that I acquired from the taco house that you decided to go to. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.